and really kind of carrying the torch on this industry that I'm so passionate about. So let's get things started. For the audience, Adi, can you run through what the live streaming landscape looks like and what are the different kinds of commerce platforms that are out there right now?
Yeah, definitely. Happy to be here. So as we see the landscape, we see two main groups of companies. So one is the B2B companies, a white label. You take a technology as an e-commerce site brand or retailer, and you put it on your native platform, and then you could get your own experience of live shopping on top of your website. The other group that we see is mobile apps of live shopping. So B2C apps that actually created platforms for end users to interact with each other on mobile app. We try to combine the B2B aspect with a content creator angle. So we created this marketplace that enables our clients actually to scale their live stream shopping activity on top of the website, but leverage our community of vetted content creators.
And I remember the first time we spoke, and I think we had 6 of the folks from Coresight on, and you literally walked us through how to kind of live stream right then and there. It was literally like a defining moment for me, and somebody who's been very passionate about live streaming. That it was, there was something with buywith was very different and unique, and it helped really simplify what I think to many is like a complicated industry. Can you just talk about, right? I think, and maybe help bring to life for the audience, right? This kind of this quickness, this kind of ease, and also I think from an expense standpoint, so a lot of people think it's very expensive. How is buywith different?
Yes, so we actually created a frictionless platform that enables brands and retailers to go live without any code integration or with just one line of code. So it's very simple for brands and retailers to just start, try live shopping, optimize it. And so this is one thing. The other thing is for the host. So they can join the live session directly from their phone like this. They don't need to have a studio or cameras. So it's very scalable for them to join very easy. And also for end users, they just click on a link and they can join the real-time session. So again, they don't need to download any app to their phone. So I think that this part of the platform, the frictionless, is very important for us. And the other part that is unique is our experience. So we literally last month got a patent about our screen sharing technology that, it's very new, that enables the host of the session to actually take the viewers to a live journey on the website. So we also have a full screen video like everyone else, but we are the only one with the Shop With Me experience that enables this influencer or the brand reps from the brand to actually navigate on the site in real time and move from product to product and give authentic recommendations in real time.
And David, can you thank you, Adi. That was, like I said, I still remember that. It was such a defining moment for me, that call that we had. David, how did you get familiar with the live streaming industry, and where do you think we are in that journey as it relates to kind of retailers and brands?
Well, I think it's a great question. I think got excited about live streaming a few years ago. And then I think like everyone else since 2020, it kind of exploded. But I think it's always kind of the idea of live commerce has been there for quite a while. Even in the US, we usually hear that the Western world, we're a little behind. But when we had shopping TV, so we had a live commerce for a while, but we see it now the way that technology is enhanced, how easy it is to integrate live commerce into your D2C if you have it, and then also how you can kind of take it and use it across both your own channels and paid channels.
So I'm going to ask you a difficult question, but that's what I get to do. And I've actually had the question asked more at this conference than I ever have. Is right? Didn't we have in the US? Didn't we already have live streaming? Right? We had QVC, we had HSN. Why isn't that live streaming?
Well, I would say it's similar, but it's a always on 24 hours. It's a TV channel. Where live commerce, we're taking it into very specific pieces and it's time frame. Also, I think I can take it on the go wherever I am. I can buy right from the live commerce. Where the TV QVC is a little different, that I still had to make a phone call. It wasn't as combustible to be able to buy right there. I think the way we look at it now, the funnels collapsed in e-com. Live commerce allows me to be that engagement and make the purchase there. It could be anywhere, to be honest. So it's that kind of creative commerce explosion that we have, purchasing anywhere, anything at any time. That's the live commerce, that piece of it, to be able to shop. And I think, as Adi talked about on the buy with, they can actually shop with you. So it's this kind of little bit of not just an event. It can be used in multiple aspects of products.
No, that's great. And Adi, I think David brought up something very important, this idea of like shopping with you. One of the things that we've seen that's very unique in the US is this idea that the consumer almost needs like this democratization of like the concierge. And so this whole idea that I do need one-on-one service, whether it's we've seen a lot of success in like athletic footwear and apparel, right? Like a sale where the consumer has, right, like I'm a runner, I have a high arch, right? I have a wide toe box, this type of idea around, I need to really have somebody kind of walk through with me what I'm buying, how I'm buying it. A lot of it's to me around reducing return rates. We're astronomical fourth quarter this year, the high on record, but also this idea, buy with help, not only on one-to-many, but one-to-one.
Yes, I don't know if it was my turn to yours, but I think I got pretty much the question. It was about the difference between the one-to-many, the one-to-one. And I would add a bit about what you said about the authenticity and tips and value that the user can get through the live. So we see that the best live sessions are where the user really get authentic recommendations about what to purchase, that it's not too salesy. You can really get valuable information about the items and about the items that fit your needs. That's why we see very low return rate as well. We actually saw in one of our clients just only 3% return rate of items. So it was really great to see it. And for the one-to-many, so yes, you are with a group of people. There is a lot of social dynamic and like emojis flying and stickers and something that is very fun. It combines entertainment. And for the one-to-one, you really get the opportunity to get a personalized advice about your own needs. So also in the one-to-many, you get the opportunity to ask questions, and sometimes you get the answer either from the brand reps in the chat or the host. But for the one-to-one, it's really, as we see it, fits to specific verticals like luxury, like electronics and beauty as well, that the end user really need like the help from this expert, the brand's expert.
And what do you see growing right now? And what do you think, right? Because the US live streaming market or live commerce market or social commerce market is much different than China. Where do you see the growth now with what kinds of retailers, brands? Maybe if you can talk about it from a retailer brand perspective and from a consumer perspective, and how is it different than what you expected?
Yeah, I think that is it for me or for David?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think that in China we see like this 24/7 culture for live shopping. What we are trying to do at buywith is really optimize with our clients the best hour, the best day to go live, so people would be available. And I think it's a bit like a culture thing. So this is one thing that we see, and we really try to optimize everything to generate the best results for our clients. So it's like the hours of the day. Also, I think that, the fact that we see in China these like huge influencers that bring, tons of audience. So we are also working with a lot of micro influencers that actually have their own like small communities. And then you have like sessions that maybe they're not like huge, but they're very, very engaging, and the conversion can be also very high. So we see also this like micro influencer trend in the live commerce space. Yeah. And maybe just to add from the retail perspective, so we see retailers that are actually enabling their like brands to do the live sessions on top of their like retail platform. So if you're selling on Ulta, for instance, and you're a brand, you could do sessions on Ulta Beauty for your brand. So this is another like trend that we're seeing right now.
That's great. And we're sharing the results of the poll that everybody took. And I do think it's interesting in terms of where we're seeing utilization of live streaming shopping as a sales channel, about 3/4, 73%, honestly higher than I would have expected, but that's fantastic. And then I do think it's interesting because I think there had been the de facto expectation that, social media would be the channel of choice. But, for many reasons, I think that's part of what has made this industry channel grow at a slower pace than we would have expected at Coresight. And instead, what we're seeing is this idea around a dedicated live streaming platform at almost kind of 40% of you. So I do think that the, kind of what's interesting on the, retailer and brand side is it's just kind of much more about how people are approaching this, how they're finding it, and the results and the success that they've had. David, I want to kind of take what Adi was talking about in terms of, right, like who actually is doing the streaming. We've always recommended co-hosts, certainly somebody from like the brand or the retailer to make it more authentic. Mm-hmm. And, if you can do that with a micro influencer, with a KOL, or, kind of let's say an influencer has a larger platform, that's great also. What have you seen in terms of what's successful and what surprised you?
So I think I would answer it in a couple of different ways, because it depends on how you're using live commerce, how you bring it in. If it's an event or versus a more intimate one-to-one shopping. So when you have an event, you want to have somebody that is engaging, that understands the product, that is trustworthy, that can sell. That could be a micro influencer. We tend to see micro influencers have more of a conversion than the macro influencers. The other thing is, you think about it when you're in a display, you see somebody selling within a store, they know how to engage with the audience. So you want somebody that can be able to not only get the product, but engaging with the audience to draw them out, which allows you to make the conversion. You can see that with events happening. The other angle is, sometimes it could be a boutique company that may only have 5 or 6 products. They want to actually build a community and build trust. So it's a lot of times you'll see actually the co-founders of those companies get involved and do the live streaming, because it's really they own the brand and it's really about them. On the other angle, this is where it does depend on your situation. If it is a clienteling, like more of a one-to-one piece, and you tend to have, sometimes sales associates do really well. You think about those sales associates, especially in in the luxury goods, that may have a long-term relationship with their clients. They can actually start to do the live commerce with them to replace the, hey, come in, let me tell you what I found in the store. Let's actually just walk through it. But they need to know their customer at that point, and it's generally a personalized experience. But it depends, as I said, on where you are in the program you want to run with it.
No, that's an excellent point. I mean, I think that we've seen, certainly having, depending on what it is that is actually kind of, the product or the brand, that may also resonate, but we have been very much against, more just from an ROI perspective, on spending too much money on your, because that can really, I think that has idea, and I don't know if you saw this as well, right? That had to kind of go out and you had to pay like millions of dollars to have this host. And so there was no way, right, that any of these were going to have the ROI that they should, because there's so much focus around the host as opposed to enough focus around the product, how you were describing it, right, how you were showing it. And I think that, and Adi, I don't know if, like, what kind of training or how do you at buywith, how do you help kind of hosts and KOLs and influencers understand how to sell in this channel?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We have a couple of team members in our influencer and creators team that actually train the host and make them like the best host for live shopping. Because we saw that not every influencer can be good, or not every person can be good in hosting live shopping event. And a lot of times also you want them to bring traffic to the live. So they need to know how to bring traffic outside of their social media to the live event, and to bring like signups and registrations. So we train them both in the like promotional side, how to promote the live, and then we train them about how to host the live itself, how to explain about like the platform, how to encourage people to add items to the cart, to show the items in the video, some like tips that they have, and they could then easily implement to create a successful live session. And I think that what we saw, the reason actually that we started to create this community was that we saw that sometimes, and a lot of times actually, the brand selected the wrong host. And we saw, okay, we have a lot of like know-how around which metrics the influencer should have in order to be a good one. And then we built a community around this, like this.
That's really helpful. As we look forward, how do you think live streaming kind of plays out for holiday this year?
Yeah, so I can start that we're already starting to have some conversations around that. So definitely holidays is huge for live shopping. We see even for the Mother's Day, and every opportunity that you could create. I'll explain. You need to, like, when you do a live session, you want to create content around it, right? It needs to be around a theme, around something that drive and attract people to come to the live and create, it's like a show. So you need to have a content, a concept. So the holidays are very attractive to create like a content around. So it's really great.
And David, what's your holiday season? And that can be back to school through, kind of the end of the year.
Yeah, I think for where we see the excitement of live streaming in the holiday is that people still want to engage with people. They want to see somebody. They want to have a relationship, and live streaming gives you a bit of that. It's not like I'm looking at a blank image, or I'm not just seeing a video that was done. It gives me that interaction to allow to see the products. I think where we also will see live streaming can help out in the live streaming platforms is the metrics that you can do it. You will know right away that if your message is working. I don't have to create an ad and run it out and then wait to see how my ad is playing. With the events, you're getting that live data. So you're knowing what's working with your customers. And I think as we get into the holiday season, as we are with the economic conversations we're having, how do you get more with less? And live streaming we should provide you that platform to do that.
Yeah, no, I want to ask, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we will do our best to get to them. As David mentioned, this whole more with less, I mean, one of the big things that, and as I think we're not in this kind of 24/7, shopping culture in the US. And so many of the like draws and sweepstakes and whatnot, right, that will not, necessarily kind of work for, the consumer here, right? It's not like if you're on for 8 hours, we'll give you this kind of giveaway. What are you seeing in terms of how consumers react to different giveaways? what is it that, kind of ultimately matters from the consumer perspective? And Adi, what kind of, gets them over the line?
Yeah, so we see that once the brand or the retailer, they give like a discount or some kind of a giveaway or prize or something, it really helps bring people to the live, and they also feel like we're unique, that they came and now they get something. They're like in a group of like a VIP thing. It makes them feel special. And so I think that it's really important to like incentivize them. And we have now some like features that we implemented that actually people can invite more people to the live and then they get a discount. Some like incentives that we're using during the live itself, or if you get to a certain number of people in the live, everyone gets like a discount. So we try to tie the giveaways and what they get to the live session itself and what's happening in it. But I think it's important because it's part of the experience, in my opinion. They come, they want to get something.
And David, are you seeing, we've definitely heard, I think that, things have gone really kind of right guardrail to guardrail almost. We had talked to some companies who are building out their own studios and in the US, and I'm not sure if they're, kind of all of those companies are still moving ahead. Can you talk about the landscape, whether it's the live, kind of, let's say, maybe some of these companies where we would have expected them to have more of a live experience and they're moving in the other direction. Maybe talk a little bit about, those companies who had started in live streaming and or social commerce and are moving in a different direction. Does that concern you about the industry, or is it that there's companies like buywith that are just right? They're purpose built for live streaming. They're, and that's kind of the direction we're heading. What do you think is happening from a landscape perspective, David? Because we're getting that question almost every day.
Yeah, and I think we give an example of buywith and the platforms that are coming up allow it to. I think you're right. We saw some large retailers building out studios almost like they were going to do production TV. But what we actually see with live commerce, it doesn't need to be production TV. It needs to just meet what your customers want and be in context. So I think where we start to see a shift, we start to see platforms that can come on that it can integrate easily. So I'm not spending a lot of time doing it integrations or having a lot of tech debt. How can I get this on board quickly? And I think this is where we talk about the platforms. I also think you touched on it a bit with the social commerce. I actually think that we look at live streaming being different than social commerce, because social commerce is you're putting out the social media. You don't really know if your customers are there or not. Where I see a live streaming and live commerce being engaged with your customers, being part of the journey. So being more connected to your brand. And so being connected to your brand can be quick and snappy. It may be a little bit more production ready, but I don't think you need to be building out a studio to start to see the benefits of this. I think there's a lot of platforms you can utilize to get going and integrate it into your ecosystem.
Great. Adi, one of the questions from the audience is kind of how do consumers find these lives, right? If there's like, 1 hour here, if there's 1 hour there, if they're on different platforms, how is the consumer, right? Is it hosted, right? Is the, kind of information hosted on the brand's own website? How is the brand or the retailer alerting consumers about the lives? How are they driving audience?
Yes, so there are like several ways to do that. And as I think as an end user, you could find the live in different places. First of all, there is the social media. So creators and the brand are promoting the session in social media to invite their followers to sign up to the live. So this is one place to find it. Another place is the actual website of the brand or the retailer. So for instance, we have on several clients' websites a VOD page where you could see all the upcoming sessions and also watch the past sessions that already happened. But there you could sign up to many live sessions that are upcoming. And this is another way to explore and discover them. Another way, and something pretty cool that we developed and works amazing is a pop-up. So we have an automatic pop-up that is triggered by our platform. So every time there is a session, if it's right now or an upcoming session tonight, there is a pop-up that calls people to sign up or join now to the live session. Also, another way to promote a live session is using newsletters. So our clients are sending newsletters to their audience about the live sessions, and also it brings a lot of people to sign up.
And I know, Annie, you guys have done a lot with Ulta. Can you talk about just like how that relationship was formed? You know, any kind of use cases or success that they're seeing? And once again, for Ulta specifically, how are consumers, how are you driving awareness about the actual lives?
Yes. So with Ulta, we started the partnership a few months ago. We started it, and recently we expanded it. And I can't say too much in this forum without them, but I can say that they are working on a lot of like good stuff that we should look for.
Thanks. And maybe just kind of, if you can give us an example with a brand name or not, right? Kind of where were they, not sales, but like where was the company from a, just from the perspective of what is this, what can it accomplish, where are we? And, maybe some of the clients you've worked with for the longest period of time or the longest duration, and where are they now, right? Like, how has the company itself changed over time? I think that would be helpful for the audience.
Yeah, definitely. So I can give another example of a client that we're working with for a while, and we are optimizing their revenue per session. So they really do hard work with our influencer team, with our customer success team, to create to generate and grow the revenue per session, even the revenue per user. So we are measuring the revenue per user, and we're doing a really, really strong optimization work if it's in features and the influencers and everything around the live to create the best results. So this is one example. Another example that we saw is actually of a luxury secondhand website that is using our technology, and they're generating a lot of money through the platform. And they don't have huge sessions. It's more like VIP sessions with their clients. They even inviting them by WhatsApp or calling them to invite them to the session. But they have an actual community of people that are coming to buy very expensive luxury items secondhand. And in the live, it's very easy for them because they're saying, okay, we will decrease the price of this item for the live. So they're doing an auction almost during the live. It's very interesting to see this use case as well.
That's great. All right. Last question for both of you. And there's still a lot from the audience, but we'll have to answer them at another time. So everyone, we will get back and answer your questions one-on-one. David, what advice do you have to brands and retailers that have not yet started?
I think they should probably, we touched on at the top, there's about a $68 billion opportunity that we see coming out there in live commerce. And I also think where you need to look at it is how can you use your live streaming outside of just live streaming? So when you start thinking about it, it is, are we going to see the return? Well, some of the strategies you do is go with a partner that allows you to see that data, but also then create snippets. So you will know what parts of that makes sense and resonates with your customers so that you can create snippets. And that becomes, whether it's video on demand or whether that becomes part of your media strategy, you're not going to you're more or less knowing the storyline that makes sense. So going with a partner that allows you to do live commerce and then taking that and then pushing some of it out into your media aspects.
Adi, of course they should use buywith, but what other suggestions do you have? And kind of how should brands and retailers think about getting started?
Yes, so I think that it's a lot about selecting the right partner, if it's buywith or different company, but really select a partner that help you to navigate in this new channel. Because for a lot of brands and retailers, it's a really new thing that they're trying, And once you have really the team that help you to navigate and to do the right decisions, if it's in the promotion or the host or many stuff that we talked about during this webinar, I think it's a crucial part, not to just, because you need to do some work of optimization there. And, we had a couple of brands that went live, and from the first session, it was incredible. But in a lot of times, you need to also give it the time of the optimization and find the right way to do it with your audience. Find the right host for you, find the right time in the day, etc. So I think that also to understand that live commerce is part of the marketing strategy. It's not a one-off, okay, I have a holiday something, I just want to do it one for the holiday, but to implement it as a strategy for your organization, because this is a channel that can generate not only conversions, but conversions and user acquisition and brand awareness. There are many value around it. So this is my tip, Jordan.
So I'm going to share my own, because as everyone knows, this is an industry I'm incredibly passionate about, especially being here in Las Vegas for ICSC, which is the largest retail real estate show in the world. And so what we're seeing is, this idea of how do you kind of merge online and offline? If you think about live streaming, it really is the kind of bringing to life of your e-commerce. And as Adi pointed out, the numbers are as low as 3%. We usually see about a 50% reduction in returns. And what we also see is this idea that, it's an event, it's entertainment. And so we at Coresight are partnering with actually many of the mall REITs to kind of bring live streaming into the centers, into the stores, and then you're creating events and you're driving awareness. And there is this excitement around shopping. We've hosted, this will be our 4th year, our 10/10 Live Shopping Festival. And it's unbelievable each year how we see greater amounts of commerce kind of going through this day, through this event, and really driving awareness. There are many different types of platforms. I think what I've really enjoyed getting to know Adi and David is that, Adi's platform is, you can literally do it. This is, and unfortunately, I'm in a not great Wi-Fi environment. This whole thing has been on my phone, which I've never done, but it's been so easy, right? And so this idea that I can be in a store, I can be in my apartment, I can be in my hotel room where I am right now, right? That I can literally go live and I can educate an audience, make a better decision about a product that they will love, and that there may be some entertainment around that. That is really the kind of the pure essence. And I think lastly, what's really important here is it's this opportunity to provide a career path for your sales associates, right? This idea of professionalization of the sales associate. And I think right now, today, there are many opportunities that we want to provide. And this is a very easy one for brands and retailers to, kind of reward sales associates, to kind of give them something to kind of look forward to as they progress in their careers. And I really think that we are going to see this as, the future of commerce, definitely coming on slower than what we saw in China. And I think, some of it not being this kind of 24/7 shopping culture, but being something that, kind of resonates with consumers, with brands, with retailers. And Adi and David, thanks for being the torchbearers as well, because I do think that we are going to see a real change this year in terms of growth and trajectory. And for all of you who are still with us, Adi, David, myself, we're all here as resources and happy to have conversations. Adi, David, I want to thank you for today. Thanks for bearing with me with my phone and everything. And, we can't wait to hear, kind of all your success and what the holiday season looks like for both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.